The birth of the Buffalo Soldiers. The year was 1866. America stood at the edge of a new era, battered and bleeding from a civil war that had nearly shattered the nation beyond repair. White America believed it could dictate what came next, including the fate of 4 million newly freed black people. They were mistaken. That July, something the country had never seen before, took place. The U.S. Congress authorized the formation of the first all-black Army regiments during peacetime. 6 units, armed, disciplined, and backed by federal power, were born. But these weren't ordinary regiments. They were destined to become one of the most respected and formidable military forces in the nation. U.S. history. These men would soon earn a name that inspired fear and admiration alike. A name that echoed across the plains and into legend. Native tribes called them Buffalo Soldiers, warriors whose strength and spirit were said to rival that of the sacred buffalo itself. What followed would shake the foundations of a racist nation. White officers resigned rather than lead them. Men like Charles Young and Henry Flipper stepped forward to command, defying prejudice and rewriting history. Together, they did something unimaginable. They forced white America to acknowledge black military excellence. This is the story of soldiers who turned their uniforms into symbols of defiance, of men who became the first stewards of America's wilderness, of black warriors who redefined what it meant to serve. A new beginning for black soldiers. In 1866, Congress created 4 all-black regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalry, and the 24th and 25th Infantry. For newly freed men, this opportunity was life-changing. A guaranteed income of $13 a month when most black workers barely earned coins, regular meals, a roof overhead, and, most importantly, a uniform, a mark of respect in a country that had long denied them dignity. These weren't just military jobs, they were a path to honor and manhood in a society that had treated black people as less than human. The Army gave structure, purpose, and power, literally. For the first time in American history, black men could walk proudly, armed and protected by federal authority. But white America was not ready for that image. Many white officers refused to serve with them. Some accepted lower ranks just to avoid the assignment. Even George Armstrong Custer, yes, that Custer, rejected the opportunity to command black troops, choosing pride over promotion. The Army's response was cruel. It sent the black regiments to the harshest, most isolated posts in the western frontier, places where death was more common than survival. They were given rotting weapons, broken horses, and worn-out saddles. Officers complained that the troops were set up to fail. The message from the establishment was crystal clear. You can have this chance, but you will fail. Defying the odds. The soldiers faced a choice. They could collapse under racist expectations or rise so high that even their enemies had to respect them. They chose the latter. Despite miserable conditions, the Buffalo Soldiers became known for their discipline, skill, and unmatched professionalism. Their desertion and court-martial rates were lower than those of white units, an outcome that stunned their detractors. Against all odds, they earned 18 Medals of Honor, the highest military distinction in the United States, awarded to men society had once deemed subhuman. They guarded mail routes across dangerous lands, built roads through the wilderness, and defended settlers and travelers from attacks. They completed missions that white regiments either failed at or refused to attempt. Every victory, every successful mission, every life saved was a direct challenge to white supremacy. Their excellence was not just military, it was revolutionary. Each success tore down another piece of the racist myth that justified their oppression. Their greatness became undeniable, and that, more than anything, made them dangerous to the white establishment. Earning their name. Even the Native American tribes who fought against them respected their strength. It was the Plains tribes who first called them Buffalo Soldiers. In their culture, the buffalo represented sacred power and endurance, an animal almost impossible to kill. To be compared to it was the highest form of respect a warrior could receive. That respect extended far beyond the battlefield. The Buffalo Soldiers would go on to become America's first park rangers, long before the National Park Service existed. At Yosemite, Sequoia, and what is now Kings Canyon National Park, they built trails, fought forest fires, stopped poachers, and protected nature itself. Captain Charles Young, one of their most distinguished leaders, became the first black superintendent of a national park, a man so capable that even the most racist corners of America couldn't deny his talent. By this time, these soldiers were more than military men. They were living symbols of what black excellence looked like in a world built to suppress it. But that same excellence made them a threat to the system that thrived on their oppression. Legacy of Resistance and the Battle for Respect. In 1906, in Brownsville, Texas, black soldiers from the 25th Infantry were stationed at Fort Brown. Their presence infuriated the white residents of the town. Armed, disciplined black men were their worst fear come true. One night, shots rang out. A white man was killed, another wounded. Without investigation or proof, the townspeople blamed the black soldiers. No trial, no evidence, no chance to defend themselves. President Theodore Roosevelt, the same man who claimed to stand for justice and American ideals, ordered 167 of those soldiers dishonorably discharged overnight. No hearings, no due process, no mercy. Some of these men had served for 20 years. Some had medals for bravery. All were stripped of their honor with a stroke of a racist president's pen. The message was unmistakable. No matter how bravely you fought or how loyally you served, you were still a black man in America, guilty until proven innocent. The Unbreakable. Charles Young. In this hostile landscape rose one of the most remarkable figures in U.S. military history, Colonel Charles Young. He was only the third black graduate of West Point and was seen as a danger to white supremacy not because he was violent, but because he was brilliant. A polyglot, strategist, and born leader, Young commanded respect everywhere he served. He stood up for his men, demanded fair treatment, and made sure their achievements were recognized. To racist America, he was terrifying. A black man who was competent, unshakable, and unafraid. When World War I loomed, Young was next in line to become the highest-ranking black officer in U.S. history, a man who might soon command white troops. The military establishment panicked. They forced him into retirement, claiming he was medically unfit due to high blood pressure. Young's response became legendary. To prove them wrong, he mounted his horse in Ohio and rode 500 miles to Washington, D.C. at age 55 to demonstrate his strength. It was a defiant act of resistance against an institution determined to silence him. His journey became a symbol of black resilience and defiance that echoed across the nation. The black press celebrated him. The NAACP rallied behind him. His 500-mile ride became proof that even in a system rigged against them, black Americans would not bow down. A symbol beyond the battlefield. By now, the Buffalo Soldiers were no longer just troops, they were icons. When they rode into towns, black communities saw reflections of power, dignity, and self-respect. White racists saw something else, their deepest nightmare, disciplined, armed black men who could not be terrorized or lynched with impunity. Communities wrote to the War Department begging for Buffalo Soldiers to be stationed nearby, knowing these men would defend them when the law would not. They were protectors, role models, and a living argument against white supremacy. But the same government that betrayed them at home sent them abroad to enforce American imperialism. In the Philippines, they were ordered to suppress independence fighters, people struggling for freedom, much like their own ancestors had. In the West, they were used to displace native peoples from their ancestral lands. It was a cruel irony. Men who knew oppression intimately were being used as instruments of it. Some recognized the injustice and refused to participate. In fact, more black soldiers defected to join Filipino rebels than from any other American unit. A remarkable act of moral resistance. They understood oppression because they had lived it. Redefining patriotism. Through betrayal, contradiction, and hardship, the Buffalo Soldiers carved out a legacy that would reshape the nation. Every promotion, every medal, every act of courage chipped away at the walls of white supremacy. They proved that excellence was not just achievement, it was rebellion. That dignity could not be stolen. That true patriotism sometimes meant defying the system that denied your humanity. These men didn't just wear a uniform, they redefined what it meant to be American. They fought enemies abroad, and the enemy within, racism itself. Their courage laid the foundation for integration in the military, for the civil rights movement, and for every black person who would later wear the uniform with pride. The Buffalo Soldiers frightened racist America because they shattered its lies. They showed what black people could achieve when given even a fraction of opportunity. Disciplined, armed, intelligent, unbreakable. They were warriors who transformed oppression into honor, uniforms into symbols of resistance, and fear into respect. They were the men who redefined what it meant to be both black and American. Forever.
आज जुनैद की बात से मैं ज़रा और मोटिवेट हूँ। इंसान हमेशा जो बैट लगाता है ना, वो सिर्फ एक घोड़े पे नहीं लगाता, वो मल्टीपल पे लगाता है। तो मल्टीपल घोड़े चलेंगे तो कोई तो निकलेगा, जो निकलेगा उसको पकड़ लेंगे, उसको खरीदेंगे।
मैंने तो दोनों का सोचा, दोनों यही वाला करूँगा काम, 3 वर्ष, एक जिम्मेदारा वाला, एक बकरों वाला, एक बच्चों वाला।
ये तीनों एक ही जगह पे काम होंगे।
जिम्मेदारा वाला आपे को तजर्बा है, उससे सीखूँगा। बकरों वाला मामे से सीखूँगा। बच्चों वाला आपे के दोस्त से सीखूँगा। इसमें सिर्फ 1 साल लगना है बस, उसके बाद अवाम मेरे पीछे होती है। मैं फिर काम करूँगा पलाई पे, बकरों की भी और बच्चों की भी। 10 बंदे तो मेरे अपने ऐसे दोस्त ही हो जाएंगे, अपने 10 वो अपने साथ और ले आएंगे।
2026 में ना अपना नाम बनवा लें,
बच्चों में भी और बकरों में भी।
तो वहाँ पे कदम जमाई हो, यहाँ पे मैं जमाता हूँ, पैसा मैं तो ये बेचता रहूँगा, तो काम कैसे रखिए।
मैंने करना फिजिकल, आंखों के सामने हो, खुद हाथ को खुद आपका